SAP is known for its enterprise software for managing business and customer relations, and now it's pivoting its strategy towards its cloud suite. The tech giant saw new cloud bookings rise 37% in the third quarter and says it now generates more revenue from that business than from on-premise products. Now it hopes to take on Salesforce and Oracle, raising its cloud subscription revenue forecast for the current quarter to $6 billion. I sat down with CEO Bill McDermott to discuss.
You have a major move to the cloud, so if legacy companies haven't fully vested themselves in the cloud, where they've converted their revenue streams more to cloud than on-premise, I think you'll see them make bold moves to get cloud ready. So, no choice. That's where the customer wants us.
So now Oracle recently launched this autonomous database that doesn't need human administrators to function. I mean, do you see a lot of competition from this? Are you developing something similar?
Yeah, we obviously have taken over the enterprise database market with HANA. So HANA has many of the characteristics that you mentioned, but moreover, HANA can take data from any source. So everything that is either structured or unstructured and data from any source in the enterprise, HANA is running the biggest enterprises in the world now with more than 25,000 customers at mass scale. So we like our HANA database very much.
Now, sticking with competition, I want to talk about Salesforce. What is the plan to catch up with them in the customer relationship management cloud market?
We see a fourth generation of CRM where we go beyond the current market participants. Basically, they focus on sales, marketing campaigns, things that essentially take money out of the customer's pocket. What we want to do is focus on an omni-channel e-commerce world where we connect a demand chain, because that customer's social, they're mobile, they're on the run. They shop in every channel, direct to consumer, wholesale, retail, and we want to connect that demand chain to the supply chain so you have a complete end-to-end business. Why is this so important? Because we're not just talking about CRM. We're talking about customer experience, the way CEOs think about their brand, their products, their human capital, their customers. All of the people inside a company have to be completely committed to the customers outside the company. This is what we call fourth generation CRM. It's all about the customer experience.
Now, you've met with President Trump before. Wall Street was very quick to cite the tax reforms as a way of future profit growth, but now the focus has really changed to his decision around tariffs. I mean, what's your assessment of his performance, and what are you hearing from clients and partners around this?
Well, the most important thing is we get paid to run businesses and work in an environment where we let government do what government does. And all government leaders have to do what's best for their country and best for their constituents. And these tariffs are obviously a serious situation. You have the two largest economies in the world, 30 trillion in combined economic firepower, right now a little bit at odds with each other. So it's good, and you saw today's tweet when it was like stated that at the G20, President Xi and President Trump will sit down and talk. That's very encouraging to the markets. Markets like certainty. So certainly we'd like to see China and the U.S. cooperate. It's good for supply chains, it's good for business.
And China is a very important market to SAP. You've been there for a long time. I mean,
yes.
How are the current tensions impacting business? It's a German company, so is it good for business in a way?
Well, in a certain sense, you could say that. German engineering is highly regarded in China, as it is in the United States and around the world, but we do particularly well in China. And China is our fastest growing market, and we think that China is easily regarded as SAP's second home in terms of the market receptivity, the ecosystem growth in China, and our long-term prospects. We think China will end up being the biggest market in the world soon.
What is your approach to servicing customers there, given the data privacy concerns?
Well, we have, as you know, or probably do know, the most sophisticated data privacy technology in the world. We acquired a company called Gigia, where we have billions and billions of customer records. So we protect your privacy. We don't let customers actually engage you unless you agree that you want to opt in on various offerings from our customers and how they serve their customers. So we follow the same reference architecture, high security standards and cloud standards in China that we do in Europe as well as the United States and every other theater in the world. We are very confident in China and the way enterprises can serve their customers in China with high security standards. We recently announced a very important partnership with Alibaba, and that is a cloud partnership that will not only impact our growth in China, but also the ASEAN region, which is one of the fastest growing regions in the world.
Now, lastly, succession is a big issue at SAP. Who have you lined up as future leaders, and are they diverse?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually have just appointed within the last 12 months 2 women to our executive board, not just because they're women, but because they're great leaders. And that would be Adair Fox-Martin and Jennifer Morgan. If you look at our company, we have a third of our workforce that is female. We also have a third of our leaders that is female. So we're very diverse. We're highly inclusive. One of the things we really enjoy is what we've done with autism at work. And now we've dedicated 1% of our hiring to autistic folks, at least on the spectrum somewhere, to basically help our workforce be highly productive and diverse. So that extends also to the solutions that we have. So if you look at SuccessFactors, the #1 human capital management solution in the world, we have a business without bias mentality. Computers don't have bias. So in the way we build the algorithms and the software, they eliminate bias from the hiring process. So the computer doesn't have a bias. It looks for the best candidates, and it fills an algorithm or a model that the company is trying to get at. So if you want 40% of your workforce, for example, to be diverse and inclusive, the model is built to do that for you. So you don't leave it up to humans. You let the software do the work, and then the human judgment comes in at the final phase of hiring. It's changing companies everywhere.